opportunity and saying, I can solve that. It's about risk. It's very fulfilling. And one of the things that I realized, it can be quite lonely too. Course on your purpose. That has to be very clear. My purpose has always, in life, has always been to help. You can have the most difficult conversations and resolve them if you're authentic, because people appreciate that. Build relationships in the game with you. You know they're on the sidelines cheering for you. And they're there to give you some guidance, entrepreneurs, in their journey. When you have cheerleaders, keep your mind open. Don't let pride come in the way of asking for help. It's perfect. What is perfect to me may not be perfect for you, may not be perfect for my team, may not be perfect for my investors. So don't focus on action, your family, your friends. So resilience is about being God. So, and obviously my conversation keeps getting bigger because I want to thank God for don't misunderstand me. A prayer is a belief system. Build your belief system, something that allows you to go out there. Are you able to imagine a better world through a digital lens? I think we heard a lot about that today. It's already happening. But it's not going to be about building the next OpenAI or the next Google. It's going to be about solving for problems using that are available for it. The market becomes so much more so much larger as an addressable market of society. There's a role for innovation to play in creating impact for that, and there is enough dry powder that's becoming available for cancer treatment through gene therapy and cell therapy. It's a company that was co-founded by Honey, and it is a business that's invested also by Vinod Khosla. So it's not really just about solving rich people problems. It's not just about making and the planet gets a fair shot at life and gets to, gets an equal. An interesting investment model is blended finance. What does blended finance do? Blended finance advising investors. What it does, it actually encourages investors to take that risk, solving for healthcare, and greater economic inclusion through fintech areas that can actually address needs. This is an area that I'm extremely passionate about, and I hope that we can solve some problems together. We've got Kasi here. From Thai Singapore, who's a Hyderabad boy. But we are the world's largest entrepreneur and investor community, with the fact that entrepreneurship is hashtag good for the world, because it's so grateful to have had so many wonderful people along on my journey. So thank you.
Up next, I would like to call upon Mr. Rahul Gora. It's not.
That's okay, you can sign it, they'll change it. So where?
If you are in the back benches, you'll be, you'll not have future. Come to the front. Come and occupy them. Some more.
This works?
Come towards the front chairs.
Yeah, changed. How do I go? Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. So last 2 decades I have been in this space. I've been in 2 different businesses in foods, and then years or so. So I can say with a lot of confidence that, and why is that, right? So we all know that this space is, right? And this big space today is for today, and these, so to say, the stars are aligning for that opportunity. Almost the entire first half was around something on this health and wellness, right? It could be around food safe, organic residues, processed in an intelligent manner, right? So that piece is also changing. And finally, talking about the supply side, right? It's a slightly different context, right? And this is a space where there are headwinds, right? As our population is growing, needed even to meet the basic calorie requirement growth that is going to happen is the forecast, right? So if you marry these two together, it's a perfect storm. Itself is very resource intensive, right? Agri today consumes almost 80% of the fresh water that is available in the country. Sustainable also. And finally, which is also my side, right? The farmer. If you see over the last 2 decades, as the is that a lot of people have moved out of basic poverty. Have almost 130, 140 households which are poor. Essentially, what you can see is that whilst the lulls and avenues of consumption, but the means to consume is still not there, right? So it's a sad thing. Technology is an element, and we've been hearing about it again since morning, right? It's the adoption and also the maturity of technologies that are now affordable computer in the hands of every farmer. What it essentially does is, in agri, there is so now possible is to be able to personalize solutions for the farmers. The second big piece was the secondary, right? So information asymmetry is for a farmer both spatial and temporal. Where, when do I sell? What do I sow so that 6 months down the line when I harvest, I get a second piece is what we keep hearing, that a fundamental problem for farmers and or collectivization of farmers through platforms. And what it essentially does is that it markets directly, enables them to access finance, which is formal in nature. But in the basic agri itself, there are a lot of advances happening, whether it delivery mechanisms which are very targeted to spray the affected plant at the right time and so on, drones and so many of them, right? So these three pieces at very broad buckets are where tech is now emerging as a potential game changer. Important stakeholder, right? And this list on the left, it have happened in last 100 days, by Ministry of Food and Agri. So the speed and the scale at which government also is working, because it's an important stakeholder, it realizes that agri as a space, what is the economy and also equity, right? So that they are cognizant of. And I think as a sector, there's never been a more conducive time from a policy perspective than now, right? Actually, the confluence of these four forces I talked about. Sure. Yeah, sure. So these four spaces are what are opportunities to emerge. Now, when we talk about what are those opportunities? Sorry. Yeah. See, this is a good canvas to lay out the opportunities. Now, anybody who knows, there can't be one single value chain, right? A value chain for wheat going up to atta would be very different. A value chain for a potato. Right? So this is an indicative canvas, but essentially the nodes in the value chain remain the same in agri, right? That you have a farmer who's selling something and he has the costs which give him his net income, and then there is trade in between. There is a cost of credit. This sector, while the margins are very low, but incidentally has the highest cost of credit. And then there is a primary and secondary processing, and then transportation to reach the hand. Good, you can say, a canvas to kind of lay out what are the opportunities that are there. We problem statements for startups to work on in this space, right? And our list crossed 100, right? So if we were to kind of bucket, what are the broad areas or what are the broad kind of space? Okay. So essentially we have three broad and that catchment, and what can be done to bring efficiency there, enhance incomes for farmers, right? It could be around something as basic as farm mechanization, but how do you do a farm mechanization for farms of India which are typically 1/10 or 1/50th? Do you have mechanization for Indian farms which are small, cost effective? Biofuels is a big space which is there, that where you can have opportunities around. Problems or challenges, which is interesting to, for any startup, being able to develop a solution which is robust and works at scale across crops and across agroclimatic zones, support of an ecosystem as well. So a successful solution which is solving a real problem is great. But for it, what are necessary for a startup in this space to work as a part of ITC, do some of it. We work, as I mentioned, with a bunch of startups, so happy to engage physically and digitally, happy to engage and mentor and support any startup. The program that we have is what we call Plug and Scale. And the idea essentially is that how do you help a startup refine the solution, work out and experiment the business model and then scale. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Very much, Mr. Rahul Gaurav, for your deep insights on agri and food sector. Please give a huge round of applause to Mr. Rahul Gaurav. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Mr. John Livingston, Executive Director, Crossroads Economic. Thank you.
Good afternoon. To the esteemed Mr. J.A. Chowdhury, to his team of extraordinary executives of the who created and sponsored this festival, I thank you for inviting me to share my journey in working to create a more sustainable and accessible ecosystem of healthcare for my area of the United States, in the known as the Delta region, the poorest rural region of the poorest state in the United States. I told some of my colleagues back home in the US that I was going to India to discuss with so many brilliant young entrepreneurs and investors in India doing to address health inequities, lack of access to adequate health care, and the issues of financial in our region. They asked me, why India? Why this group? Well, I think the answer to those questions may be informed by two thoughts. Many things in common with certain rural areas of India. We have transportation for many families is difficult, and a lack of access to adequate health care, coupled with unhealthy lifestyle, a population base in which many people suffer chronic illnesses and infectious diseases. These facts contribute to poor education outcomes, a higher crime rate, and presents workforce challenges that make recruiting industry to our area a challenge. And yet, rural India and our families in the rural United States have a fundamental and heartfelt desire in common. And second, during recent decades, we in the US, if we are paying attention at all, have witnessed a resurgence in South Asia, most especially in India. Terrorism, the cyberspace, in Make India, as discussed by Prime Minister, and in the general economic growth and development, India is the country that more and more countries are turning to. The author notes, and I quote, India's most recent decade of economic growth from 2014 to 2024 has been characterized and driven by structural reforms, innovation, and prudent fiscal management. India has become an indispensable ally. Challenges faced by rural U.S. regions with an entrepreneurial zeal and a resourcefulness that has compelled many of us and grow from your experience. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. When I learned in mid-2022 that our agency were assigned the task of keeping it open, I traveled to Bangalore to improve healthcare they developed for the rural regions of the state of Karnataka. I did this because I was aware from their practical approach to successfully reaching an undereducated population living in poverty. And when I returned to the United States following my 2022 visit, I discovered that the group, if shuttered, the nearest trauma center would be almost 2 hours away. We would have no labor and delivery services in the northwest sector of our state, and that would have imperiled the lives. What would the broader impact be if this healthcare facility closed? Area in the northwest part of our state, it is an alluvial floodplain and agriculturally based, although recent efforts have been successful in developing a nascent historical reasons. The region has the highest poverty rate in our state and among the highest from heart disease in our nation. Further, African American from that stroke is even higher. According to the Mississippi State Department of Health, the publication U.S. News and World reports that Mississippi has the highest rate of sexually transmitted diseases in the United States, and the Delta region leading the state. 2021, Mississippi saw a 900% increase in babies born with syphilis passed to them. Mississippi has the highest infant mortality and maternal mortality in the U.S. Additionally, as reported in the same edition of Mississippi, circumstances in which we live and for which we are charged with addressing. As we have told, to successfully address the humanitarian crisis our people face, an already alarming trend, which is that of health and wealth inequities, ensuring a grim future for generations to come. So one might, team took over operation and management on May the 1st, 2023, without a CFO, an HR director, an IT director, no accounting team, no head of its own. One consequence of the slow dismantling of services in the name of cost-saving personnel had been diminished in recent years by the previous management group. The number of babies delivered 16 months since we began operation. We put together a leadership team of community leaders, elected officials, leadership, new department heads, realigned up the salaries of existing employees, found efficiencies of economy, just OBGYN clinic in North Mississippi, absorbing their doctors, employees, control and improve that service in our region of the state. Finally, we continue to recruit additional doctors and other specialties and build our relationships with local, regional, national, and international challenge before us all, which is to create a sustainable model of high-quality health care for the Delta region, and to accomplish this goal, it will take much more than just money. It will require the cooperation of communication and information. And in many ways, as in so many other industries, high-tech, AI, will provide many of the means, but it will also require something much more. Interestingly enough, in 2008, while in India that year, I learned about the Sadhguru's mission of heart treatment to children whose families had little or no access to adequate care. The notion of providing health care to the most needy amongst us had created a labyrinthian insurance reimbursement system for financial sustainability. However, in 2019, in an act of total selflessness, my hometown of Clarksdale, that offered free medical service to our underserved population with a special to sustain. And I wasn't alone. Most of the medical community in Clarksdale scoffed at the idea at the clinic and felt somewhat threatened by medical doctors and one PhD psychologist. It has been relocated to our hospital's medical office building. And while I, like many others in my community, doubted the financial viability idea behind the Sadhguru's efforts, his mantra is to love all and to serve all. Corporate concerns of profit, the Sadhguru's seemingly impossible but very successful efforts were driven by his idea was that we should all endeavor to take care of our fellow humans out of respect, honor, and love. We were also a franchise. Isaac donated a significant portion of his fortune to fund the creation of a large hospital in Puttaparthi. Through foresight, wisdom, and generosity of men like the Sadhguru and Mr. Tigrit. Their care in our region give life to the words of the 19th century American theologian, Theodore Parker, and paraphrase, the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. To which I would add, but it doesn't bend on its own. These two men and their efforts continue to bend that arc toward decency, civility, humanity, and why now? When one thinks of the United States, and global military might, and it is all those things and more that were and remain the primary agricultural centers in the U.S., but are often generational cycles of poverty for many of its families, exacerbated by the poor health of its citizens. We look not only inward to our local, regional, and national resources, but also outward of Sadhguru Madhusudan Sai and Mr. Tigrit, whose selfless acts of love all our families all over the world share. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to our next section, which is the Skill, Employability and Talent Roundtable. to begin the set roundtable. Over to you, Mr. Sheshadri.
Good afternoon, friends. I think we have good in the audience because I believe whenever I hope we talk about.
Could you please request everybody? Request whoever is sitting at the back, please come forward. Please come forward. Thank you.
I know it's a bit of a challenge that we are getting into a small thing. I think how many of us in the room feel that skills, employability, talent is important? I think I should repeat the question. There are only a few hands. How many of you are think again that skills, employment, talent is very, again, very limited number. Friends, I can promise you with ISF, the whole idea. My name is Seshadri Bangla. I've been privileged to be working alongside my mentor. After all the talent, that's where I come from, my background, and the intent for this particular session is not. The idea of this is to how and what the ISF initiatives and ISF kind of a thing has been really outcome. So before I go, before I speak further, last year certain talented people talked about. So last year to now we have few people. One of them is so we have first of all Abhishek. Abhishek, where are you? You can come to this. Arnav, the skills from the last year to now. Then we have Arnav. Arnav, come to stay. He's a author of quantum physics. How many of us really know, talk about quantum physics? Youngest author of quantum physics, 15 years, is here. Son? Yeah, where's your son? He's also been roaming, like understanding from 7 years old. He's also kind of, along with my friend here, Mahesh. I think he is actually, when Mahesh is here, he is actually running the stall. Similarly, daughter is also kind of, how many years I don't know, but she's running the company. The Araku Coffee is run by all this young thing which is realistically happening with ISF. And not only that, I should first of all, I also have, I just want to acknowledge Dr. Ravinath Chaudhary Garu, who is also into the nerve reason. And you should have known Bobby here. And Venu Ganapuram Padma Shri Award nominee. And also scientist, very. But if you listen to me, he saved doctors' lives, sir, during COVID. He saved already doctors' lives during COVID. That's the reason he was being. Similarly, I think there are many of them right here. And the whole intent for us here session. And the session we are not really fond of. Actually, ISF as such always is his still event, I say fest, because my mentor always does fest here. So the why fest? Because everybody is the student volunteers. Within last time, I think we had about 300 volunteers who came from students, volunteers putting every one of their time and unique. They are not doing things, all of them that they are doing is just getting into that. So basically we have friends like Deepu, where are you? I think he should have spoke about his initiatives from Kerala. And we have some of the talent leaders, but they're also the good human beings, I call them, because they took the time to do it. So also before I get in, is our director here, Ramesh Rao Garu. I think that's the reason we have here Engineering Staff College of India. And we also this ESCI was not known to many. When they say ESCI, they say ASCII. And I hope this now they will know every route comes into ESCI. That is what we have been spending a long time. I hope, I know it's a lunch or thing, but I hope you will be finding interesting.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abhishek Gosala. And before I go further, my heartfelt thanks to J. Chowdhury sir and the ISF team who has brought this great opportunity. my inspiration from this ISF Fest. I've been a volunteer last year, and that is always primarily been job seekers, and my family is empowered.
Hi, I'm Arnav. I guess they introduced me before. I've been at ISF. I've been working with ISF. I've been the core team since the last two. I've been meeting everyone. I've met a lot of people so far, and I look forward to meeting everyone. Thank you.
This is my father's company. I'll start my own company tomorrow.
You're a smart kid. Now you talk. Brave child.
I really did have a lot of experience seeing because really they give some very come out of this, and this can empower our future, I believe.
All the way from Netherlands. You should have seen that AI information poem. AI information poem book. The AI converts to poetry also part there, sir. And of course, while I not again, there are many, as I said, there are many. Time you come in, you'll see many here in the room, sir. So with this, I think I just hand it over to Roundtable. Over to you, Venu.
Andarki namaskaram andi. This is Venu Madhav. I am a volunteer for ISF. And before I start, I want to have a small Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave. Dedicate it to our mentor, the driving force behind ISF, Sri J. Chaudhary Garu, and all my beloved mentors, and sharing our thoughts. Your insights are important, and we are looking forward. Abdul Qadir, please. Arun Boda, sorry, actually he didn't join today. Arun Prasad, Head of Talent Acquisition from Flutter. Deepa Jagarlapudi, she's a Senior Director and Head of Talent, Valtech. Senior Principal Scientist and Padma Shri Awardee nominee with CSIR. CMS IT Services. Welcome on stage. I want to welcome Madan Harthi, Founder CEO, Empower Group. Welcome, Madan. I want to welcome Ram Misala. Welcome, Ram. Mr. Rohit Bharadwaj, Head of Talent. Ms. Sunita Lanka, a Global People Officer. Last but not the least, inviting the chair of the roundtable, Emmanuel Gosila. He is skilled in Gen AI tools, change management and HR analytics. Currently, he is Head of Talent Development of APAC at EPAM Systems, overseeing India, Singapore, Vietnam and Malaysia. He has grown EPAM India headcount from 90 to welcome all. Emmanuel, over to you and good luck. Thank you.
Check. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure we are just before your lunch. For that, you have some good learnings and you will not feel the hunger right now. Because we are going to talk seasoned, experienced professionals. How many of students are here? Can I see your hands raised? How many students here? Okay. Awesome. Okay. So what we want to do is, we want you to pay attention because you are the future, as Jay sir was talking about, and you will get mentoring by these panel members. Are you ready? You will get an opportunity to get
Venkatesh, where's Venkatesh? The disruptor, one of the innovators. He's been awarded in the London almost 3 times, sir, from Barclays, the DAS.
www revolution has changed the course of a business scenario, especially in India. Now we are talking about AI generation. What this brings and what opportunities, right? And at the same time, how are we going to ensure most of you or all of you have been following what's happening around the world? If you look at pagers, walkie-talkies and pagers, let's see what benefits we are going to have and how the disruption and what kind of innovation. List of questions to our panelists. So I would like to go about the talent acquisition. I would think the Gen AI is going to disrupt the way how we are going to screen. There are a lot you think the Gen AI is going to help you because you had the talent acquisition. So over to you to hear your views.
Looking at the entire process of hiring right now, right? So if you see in our organization, which I represent, Valtech, for example, we have wherein both the applicant and the recruiter is able to be extremely clear. Once you upload your profile into our system, the generative AI tool called Copilot step in the recruiting world, actually. That is number one. It can read through your profile and the recruiters can send you a very personalized text message your way. So that is the kind of disruption which it has made in the recruitment process and in the human capital management.
This morning also about people losing jobs, job displacement, including HR. I don't know here. What do you think the AI is going to do, especially from the employability point of view? I would like to hear your remarks.
Manuel, and thank you everyone for arranging this event. I'm very grateful to be part of this discussion. Killing jobs but also creating jobs at the same time. And if I go back to the basics of, because they're sitting here, I would say that there is nothing which we will talk and is not also available for you guys to understand the importance of AI in terms of getting action. Or there were recessions and then there were revolutions again. Every time there was a need to upgrade yourself. The basics of AI, at least, like how to be a mathematician is by learning mathematics, right? Data privacy and a lot of threats which are also coming along with the AI. A lot of companies, a lot of leaders in this event would not probably, because AI has a lot of bias, a lot of governments has regulations. So I want all of you in the beginning to learn the basics of AI as well as the most important factors, the education of AI. And second part is your entrepreneurial mindset. I would say when you get in a job, it's your entrepreneurial mindset as a job comes from the word knocker. But I think we should not have that mindset. We should have a mindset where we are creating a value for the job role that we are taking up from of the latest trends in the AI that you learn, as well as your attitude towards getting the job.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for adding. And
people have this myth of AI being a threat to their jobs. But what I look at it is an opportunity to create, if you are not yet, ignite the smooth transition with AI-powered multi-skilling is what we are talking about. So get up all your employees with the skills that can organizations. Thank you.
Okay, so we have he has a different view about how the Gen AI and the emerging technologies are going to change.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now, I would want to talk about three things. Being a personalized mentor basically needs a lot of time. Now, how can Gen AI actually help any company or the employees that work for the company? So Gen AI, basically, it's obviously very intelligent because it knows everything about you. But the only thing is that you need to ask it the right questions, where it creates a personalized mentor to give you a lot of time so that they add value to your life and your skill sets. It's very important for them to put in that kind of energy while they actually mentor you, and also give you the direct map, because it can actually create a model of all the skill sets that you have acquired and you can acquire, and it can actually give you the right direction, and it can be a very good mentor in this case. Now, this would also create a model where it would tell you while you actually make yourself competent in the industry space. It also helps you to basically give you a predictive analysis or a report on how exactly you have performed, and what an account on some of the AI tools, because it's free, and we as Indians like things whichever is free. So make the maximum from it, because you can learn a lot through generative AI, because it can required inputs, insights that you need from those 1,000 scenarios, which will take you a lot of time to actually. It's definitely not true when everyone say that Gen AI or AI as such can tools get the insights and actually improve your resume and your skill sets to make yourself more competent in the industry that you're working in. Thank you.
Questions. So, you have any questions? Anyone? Start thinking about it, and you can raise your hand, and I will your questions. So, I would like to hear from my friend Arun.
I'll add a point also.
Oh, you'd like to add a
Thank you, Emmanuel. Hope I'm audible to all of you behind. Right. So, in every job application that you go through, just want to check with, most of the students are here, just want to check with you that how many of you yesterday, today, day before yesterday have used GPT or Gemini? Can just raise your hands, please. I see pretty less people. Have any of you have prepared your CV or resume? You have done. Great. Fantastic. And do you know that I believe you have seen LinkedIn or a Naukri or wherever you try to look at the opportunities basis, the skill set that you have generated, there will be hundreds and thousands of applications generally you get to see. Looking at the right set of 5 to 10 candidates, they need to go through thousands of CVs which is coming into our applications, into our, right? So if you are not making a personalized CV for each of the companies that you apply for, then you will probably fail in getting even an interview for that organization. So I just want to give you a little bit of information that as a talent acquisition leader, I look for a candidate who is more personalized, who will fit in our culture, who also has an ability to kind of understand the technology, the finance, the operations that you work on, but predominantly how you can make more personalized way of, for example, I work in an entertainment domain, which is sports and gaming, right? And I would love to kind of see if anybody plays football. I love to kind of see if anybody plays some different games, which is mentioned in the CV, which becomes personalized for the organization when you're applying for. So please keep in mind, making one CV resume is good for you to look at, but when you are applying for an opportunity elsewhere, when you complete your courses and applying for an opportunity, make your CV as personalized as possible. So if you're applying for 100 different companies, then I'm not saying you should have 100 CVs, but make it as personalized possible for the companies to apply for. That stands out, and you may have a high chance and opportunity to get a job there.
Great. So you also mentioned about how AI is going to help the student community. At the same time, I have a question to our dear friend Abdul. How the human judgment is going to make a difference? Because I see the AI tools are so sophisticated, and I'm sure that to be very, very sophisticated. As per you, because yesterday I was talking to you offline about your experience mountaineer. So I want to hear from your experience. How about human judgment? Do you think we don't have to judge because the tools are going to do the job? I want to hear your views on that.
How do I put it? What comes in your mind when you say AI? Iron Man and Jarvis? That is what AI helps us build things. It helps us, derive to a conclusion. But that is not exactly AI is. It is artificial. Believe me, humans have made AI.
Closer.
Humans have made AI. It's artificial. So human beings are meant to evolve, to survive. So they are always one step ahead of whatever technology that is coming in. And that is where you'll always need, say, scramble the data and make some sense out of it. I'll give you a small little example before I come to my mountaineering story. So we use AI in wearables, we use our smartphones. In organizations, we use AI to, like Deepa said, she uses it for screening candidates. Now, you put your CV there with your skill set and years of experience, and then, once it comes to us, we look at it, screen it, and we find some 5. But what after that? Are we going to hire all those 5-10 candidates for one role? And the answer is no. Human touch, that is where a recruiter comes in place. They initiate a discussion with you, they screen you, they moving forward for employees who are there in the system. There are thousands of employees working in corporates, and how do you gauge them? Who is the next in line for promotion? You can measure the KPIs. You can it'll give you merit list that okay, these are the first. Now, we still need a human form to judge, to put them up for promotion, because they'll still need an internal interview. Whoever is the best makes it up to the ladder. So you will always keep needing the human touch to, AI is not the end solution. AI won't snatch jobs from anyone. It'll always be there just as a support system. So I was talking to Emmanuel yesterday, and I'll tell you what happened. So from profession point into talent acquisition, but again from passion, I'm a mountaineer. So I've been doing that for past 18 years, and I'll tell you a story. So during one of my hikes in the Himalayas, we capture a peak which was 6,000 meters. And this happened recently in 2021. And we were a team of 5 people. We had our digital applications with us. We had a tab for maps, contours. We were wearing smart wearables, which would how much blood oxygen we have. We were carrying our oxygen cylinders and everything. So once you reach a tree line wherein the oxygen gets thin, you start to feel a bit dizzy. You're dehydrated, but you do not feel like, drinking water. You do not feel like things a little bit. During that, we realized that, the maps would show you, okay, which route to take. But we left gauge, okay, what is the decision that we have to make from over here? But we did that. So I'll just tell you, for all the entrepreneurs sitting over here, the unicorns, the startup enthusiasts, you'll always have to take your own decision. Take your call and make your own judgments out of it. It's just there to support you.
Yep. Thank you. So, whatever about the skill gap, right? And how AI can help in my learn path. To you, Sureka. Right? I also have questions to our the artificial intelligence, right? So, I would like to take that. Touch. We are losing it. Are we going to forget about it? So I want to hear your views on that.
Thank you. Still here, yeah? Thank you so much. Let me speak something different, something advanced than what my fellow folks are speaking here. So, let me introduce the metaverse. What exactly the metaverse is? Reality. So, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, as a combination for the extended reality. HCM, okay? So now, Abdullah raised the point that human touch, technology advancement is such a way that even you can feel that connectivity as if you are in real. So the metaverse platform as a new tech sectors are not only limited to HRM or finance, real estate, these kind of technologies will enable the companies to office, like, because now most of us are habituated to work from home, right? So, but the thing is still you can connect with different avatars, you can have the visual impact, you can have the even sensory things. See, Bangalore, they can even give you the sense of touch. When you shake hand, they can give you the sense of touch kind of thing. So the technology is not limited for only digital world. Yes, man, you can even have the personal feeling and touch.
Okay, so you mean the integration, right? The GenAI integrating with metaverse, blockchain, all this can bring different view to the employee or a student or productivity and any experience. Okay. To Sureka about upskilling and learning, how the GenAI tools can help an employee or a student.
Thank you to ISF for inviting me on this esteemed forum and roundtable. I'd like to relate to what Sunita said in terms of upskilling, reskilling, and multi-skilling. So GenAI is there to help you understand what are the new set of skills that you need to have for the type of employment that you choose to want to have. So as students, you need to, when you're setting up your resume, decide what are the skills that you are good at or you are passionate at, and what would you like to work or see your employment over your course of life. And based on that, GenAI tools will help you skill up to that standard and that level. And since keep having innovations over a period of time, it's not going to be keep changing, and we need to upskill and understand that there's going to be a need to change, and we need to keep up to that pace.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to ask about Madan in terms of the skill gap, right? So what do you say about it? How GenAI can help in the skill gaps? Because I also see few of the academia here. What are your views on that, Madan?
Seen the sea change in the entire environment of human resource management. If you look at even in the corporates, from a corner room to the center stage, from billing the salaries to the business page, the HR resources, HR leaders changed a lot towards the modernity, whatever we are seeing today. The skill gaps, unless they have been addressed all through the times, there is no possibility that the businesses would have grown to. Okay, the question of transparency of the businesses, the question of building up the entire, ecosystem of the skill management is definitely the outcomes of the human resource leaders who think through the entire process, who also anticipate the likely changes. Today, the AI is a technology which has been accepted and also adapted by the HR resources also. At the same time, I must say that AI is an augmenting intelligence for the HR system. So today what we see is the students coming with a lot of aspiration values, aspirations as such, but the reality is something different. So HR plays a very crucial role in utilizing these technology in making them understand how the AI make them build the gaps within the skills which they need to possess. So the skill gaps are definitely going to increase. Okay. So the skill gaps in student perspective, as I was telling you, the students are coming with a lot of expectations from the organizations. At the same time, HR also has to understand that. How the HR need to transform themselves into the management of these resources. Only the experienced, but at the entry level also, you find brains coming into the system. So how to engage them? If they don't like your answers in the first moment, they will not join you. So how to retain them, how to sustain them in the system is so the skill gap engagement, the retention, the sustenance, all these things becomes a very, and I'm sure the skill gaps are understood and made understood of Gen AI more proactively and addressed more successfully.
Okay, thank you. So I have my last questions before I go to the audience and the students for their question to Mazid and Ram about predictive analytics, right? We all know as a talent leaders how we struggled about prediction. People are leaving, joining, and work from home, hybrid model. What are your takes, like, as such? Okay.
Sure. Thanks, Emmanuel, and thank you, ISF. So, predictive analytics. Present data and planning for the future. So, while there are many tools in the market, I just want to share an example of how predictive analysis helped our organization. Or offer many people. Out of 10 offers we made, like 5 people wouldn't show up. And on the similar line of business and someone who has been referred by colleagues, they are more likely to join the organization. So hire people who are from the similar line of business, and also we also look to source someone from. And predictive analysis is something which you could implement in our day-to-day life as well. I mean, there are a lot of students over here for the job. Everyone has their dream company. Like example, they have like 5 to 10 dream companies. They need to look at the historical data of what company the skills are they are hiring. What is that skill they are going to hire? Look for that. So that's something I want to share.
Okay, thank you. You mean to say the productivity has definitely increased with the predictive analytics. Thank you. Yeah.
For any decision making, right? And it is always good that analytics is nothing but preempting what could be the future course of action, looking at the behavior of the target audience, right? In the target audience is nothing but your people that you are catering to. Has been there, right? Today we talk about data and analytics, we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, but all of these things have always been a part of our ecosystem in the form of statistics, right? So of yesterday is becoming your modern day artificial intelligence or data and analytics or what is happening at the workplaces today is that natural language processing is becoming very important, and that is being used to look at the things, and if at all there is a pattern, that pattern possibly will tell you what of actions that you are supposed to take. Organizations have deployed chatbots looking at a lot of these chatbots are conversational, where a lot of data has been fed into what has happened possibly maybe in the last 10 years, 12 is being applied even in the field of consumer or retail business, right? So they look at the behavior of the consumers, and looking at that, a lot of feeds are sent across people which in terms of buying a merchandise or taking a particular service. So an organization which is catering to people for the and looking at the data and looking at the analysis which is going to give you a lot of insights, you can manage the knowledge and from time to time, right? Some of us spoke about reskilling, upskilling, cross-skilling, etc. Again, data is what gives you all of these insights, particular gap, which will get your people in line with the relevant needs of the industry in today's time. So it actually covers the 9 yards of HR, particular facet from the entire spectrum of human resources.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to go with the questions from the audience and then we will close this session. So please, 2 hands. Wow. So you want the mentoring from the panelists here? Awesome. So we have the young entrepreneur also here. So this opportunity ask my dear friend and yeah. So I just got an announcement saying that you can talk to us and ask those questions. Okay. Sorry?
You can't really judge the AI because it's not been a lot of time since AI came. It's only mostly since AI came. So you can't really judge how AI will act everything. So we need more proof.
Okay, you need more proofs. Excellent. Thank you for adding as one of the panelist speaker. Yeah, awesome. So whistles also for you.
I want to take
Good. Yeah.
I want to answer.
Okay, Deepa is going to take up your comment and question.
Yeah, I mean, point here on behalf of what you asked. Exactly. I mean, what we are, it's just a topic, generative AI. If you see the space in which where I need to hire people on Commerce Cloud. No AI, no generative AI, nothing works for us. A real human who knows coding, and we process hundreds of applications and we still find only very few people who are good at hands-on coding, good in Hybris, Commerce Cloud. So it connects to your question. No AI is working actually. It is actually the real human along with the AI is only taking some of the primitive jobs which we do. So just to answer you.
Okay. Then we'll close. Yeah. Okay. So before we take up that question, I would like to put my panelist on spot. So I want to hear from you in one word. What is AI for you? So I'll start from Venkatesh. So you have time to think about it. What is AI for you in the next 3 years? Okay. The question. No, we'll take the question, and in the meantime, I'm
Managing Director of the Snabic Lineage Services. Actually, we are into the recruitment part from last 7 to 8 years. Okay. Actually, we have been dealing with multiple students or job seekers from the last several years. Multiple gaps in the career of the students or aspirants.
have to come to the question faster, please.
Yeah. So the main question is like, job seekers are not able to fill the expectations of the organization.
There's a skill gap.
Yeah, skill gap. So I want some suggestions from your side. So what are the suggestions you will be adding on? How AI or metaverse or blockchain technology will help or fill the gap?
Given the answers, however, yeah, I think we did give some answers, right? Arun, you would like to take it up? Quick answers, please. Yeah.
So I think skill gap can be measured in terms of the requirement of the organization and the post that you're applying for. Organizations choose based upon the requirement and project that they are hiring. Varies over a period of time. They do not, hire for specific roles assuming that in the future that they will need that role. They hire based on projects that they get. So right now I may get a blockchain project. Later on I may get a UI UX project. So I will hire based on my requirements. So a better way would be that you make your skill and then move on and apply for job roles that are specified to your skill set. There are higher chances that you'll get recruited.
So, what is AI for you in one word? We'll go from there and
Skill, talent development.
For me, it's like
I think
it helps in decision making.
Amy, thanks all, because in interest, I think we see half the waiting patiently listening for us. But as I said, basically, of course, I have my mentor coming in at the moment, sir. And see, as I said, I think in the whole conference, you have seen guys who asked a question. I think that's there. So let's applaud again, because you're getting from the kids a question asking for evidences. I think this is most important. And of course, I also have a Ved and questions. And we always believe, right, the first guru for all of us is from the parents. The reason of this is post next year, again, we are not seeing just a room here filled with only this. And these are all not just people who came from, they're all the global leaders in the talent side that came in, and they're spending their time. They're not just here to give a here to, they'll be mostly approachable. So we should applaud for them for that as well, taking time here. So apart things here, Padmaja, she's also Forbes awardee. She should applaud. It's not just her, she's also been in the part of the HR grounds. Thank you all again, and it's to Venu now. Oh, okay, sorry. Mahesh has some announcement.
So now let us felicitate all the roundtable speakers. Please, I would request you to please go and felicitate with all the bags. Please. So while this is going on, I have a great news for all the student volunteers who supported ISF for the past 3 days. So we have a great sponsor, Hover Robotics, who has given 15,000 rupees vouchers for each student worth, where they can use this coupon to buy robotic instruments, robotic tools, and robotic devices. Not just this, we also have one more sponsor, Mentor X, who has given a coupon worth 10,000 rupees per student for all the students who has volunteered for the last 3 days. For more than 200 students, they have given these coupons worth 25,000 rupees per student. And the second coupon, which is 10,000 rupees, they can reimburse, they can use it for entrepreneurship, mentoring and skill development training. So I request all students during the lunch break to come over and collect their coupons. Thank you.
I also want Banu Anna, please come to the stage. I know you're working all the backstage. I want to get who are all there. Captain Bobby, Pavati Garu. So you know, you should have known him obviously from many things. From last 15 days, I was not well. He's also kind of betting all his time. He himself is a big entrepreneur. Many of them in the Hyderabad ecosystem know him. Thanks, brother. I think also to you a few word of our.
Thank you so much to everybody here, and I am one of the volunteers. So there's nothing to be tell across you. Please go ahead, Bobby Garu. Tell me something about that.
My dear friends, this is a very good opportunity for all of us to upskill ourselves and also restart and ignite what we are dreaming and add wings to it. All the best for all of you all. Thank you.
Certificates getting printed. He just volunteered to me and said, sir, I'll go to be along with you. I said, this is going to take 2 to 3 and 5 hours. And he was ready. I don't know, he was not there, but I wanted to meet him actually after the meeting is done. So good luck, guys. Let's go and hit the lunchroom. All the best.
The
HR panelists are all around. You can get in touch with anyone.
An important announcement, the audio. So I would request, thank you so much.